Hey everyone, welcome to your first week of the my gosh, the Heartbreak Hotel Book Club. I'm like, this is a new platform for me, so I'm like looking at like 10 different things as we go on. There should be a chat option for you if you want to just say hi to make sure that I know that you're here and that you can hear things okay. That would be much appreciated. Um, and then we can get started right away. Grab a notebook, grab a pen to take some notes and kind of get into that space, get cozy. Good. There. And you can hear me okay. I hope this sounds good. I'm glad I'm not reflecting light and look like a vampire. I think we're good to go. I'm just going to check. Yes, perfect. Okay. I think we're good to go. We're going to get started here. So, welcome to the Heartbreak Hotel Book Club for week number 1, and really honoring the space that you want to come into with the intention to heal. My intention here for the next 9 weeks is to really help aid you in the process of being able to heal your emotions, heal your feelings, healing that wound through the use of words, and finding how you write and how you can create poetry and finding those words for those feelings inside to help you feel really validated, to help you feel like you're being productive in your healing and in your grief, and also to help really explore who you are as a writer. I strongly, like with my whole heart, believe that everybody has a book inside them. I have absolutely no doubt in your ability to be a poet, a lyricist, a writer, to be able to find your style and finding your individuality in how to create these words. Being able to do this once a week really can help compartmentalize your feelings. I think, especially as you're working through grief and you're working through like that little T trauma and working through those big situations and episodes in life, being able to have that once a week really helps you be like, okay, this is bothering me, but I know I'm gonna do something about it and during this class. And I know I can feel my emotions there and it's safe there, and that we can do something about it in this time. So just really honoring yourself in this practice. I want to say thank you and to express my gratitude for not only your investment in the class, but for your bravery for attending, for being able to say yes to your heart and those signs that came your way, but also for your time in being able to take this experience over the summer and to have a book potentially at the end of it. How we're going to roll this out and how I would like things mentally, this is how I would like it to go. We'll see if it actually rolls out this way. Is that I would like to spend every week, I want to do about 20 minutes, half hour of like teaching and kind of getting you to see your grief and your healing and your words and your poetry from one perspective. And then doing a guided meditation to get you into that space of writing, and then also doing a small meditation to get you out of the space of writing afterwards. So we're going to do teaching, learning. You can ask the questions in the comments, being able to follow it up with posting in the group afterwards your work if you feel so inclined, and being able to get into that space of really feeling what's going on. Okay, so that's the plan for 9 weeks. For 8 weeks, we're going to do that, and then a bonus round, kind of that bonus class at the end for being able to do that. So deep breath in, deep breath out. Getting started, I want to read to you what the definition of poetry is. Because poetry is, according to the dictionary, literary work in which special intensity is given to the expression of feelings and ideas by the use of distinct style and rhythm. Poems collective could be in a collection, or they're seen as a genre of literature. It's really important to know that writing and your ability to write and your perception of what you're writing, like art is subjective. Anybody can be a poet and anybody can write down words, call it poetry, and someone somewhere is going to find it good. And they're going to find it really good. And so I think it's being able to really tell yourself that it's not about being really good. It's about finding the words to how you feel and then finding the style in which you would like to present them to the world. Some of us are probably going to be writing song lyrics. Some of us will be probably writing more traditional long form narrative poetry. Sometimes it's just one line. Sometimes it's a haiku. But we're going to focus less on the structure of poetry because how do I want to word that? I would prefer for you to focus on just getting something onto paper than I would for you to focus on iambic pentameter. Like, we're not in an English lit class. We're here for some healing and that medicine of being able to be in that space of words and finding healing through words. Okay, so just reminding yourself through the process that poetry is subjective. I believe you're a good writer. I think you're going to shock the hell out of yourself at how good you can be as a writer. And then using that group to be able to share your writing, being brave, being vulnerable, and really being able to present what it is that you would like to share with this world in this safe space, knowing that that vulnerability will be kept safe there and that also encourages others to do the same. Okay. I think we can get really in our heads, and even just joining for the group, we can get really in our heads about how you don't think you're good at it, or you think that you won't be able to find the word, or you have all these big feelings that you can't sort through and you don't know what to do with. And there might even be like a part of you that's like, this is a waste of time. Like, why am I doing this? What is this actually going to help? I don't think the poetry is a cure. I don't think that it's going to complete the wound completely. See what great poetry right there. Complete the wound completely. Oh, and I call myself a writer. See that this is how it happens. I don't think it's gonna heal your wound completely. I feel like this is a very strong aid in being able to really give voice to what's happening. A lot of us here in the intention for the Heartbreak Hotel Book Club is through heartbreak. Whether that is defining for you, whatever that means, maybe it's grief, maybe it's trauma, maybe it's the loss of a loved one, either physically, literally, the loss of a lover, working through the life that you thought you were going to have and that you don't have anymore, and finding that space in which to really allow. And I think when you are in that overwhelm of grief and feeling, it can be really scary to tap into that even further. But I think a lot of those feelings are looking for words. They're looking to be recognized somehow. And we can recognize them with poetry. That's why when you read something and it feels like it just hits because you're like, yes, that is how I feel. You know, with everything in your soul that somebody else understands you. And when you feel understood and validated and not alone, then you're safe to let go a little bit more. You don't have to carry those emotions as strongly. You don't feel as lonely in your grief and your heartbreak, carrying this wound alone. I think with immense grief and loss, few people understand it unless you've really experienced it yourself. It can be really difficult to have that sympathy and that empathy of understanding for the grief that you're going through. And then I just think that poetry really helps connect us to our emotions and our feelings so that we can cry with reason and grieve with reason instead of just feeling like we're overwhelmed by a tsunami of emotions with nothing and nowhere to go. It can be a lot. I would encourage you to do this in a very supportive space, whether this is in conjunction with a therapist, if you're going through huge grief and mental health with it. and having that support to be able to really aid you in the processing of what comes up. It is not my intention to bring up deep trauma. My intention is to help aid you in the grief that you're already in, or that heartbreak, or that healing that you're seeking, to be able to help do something with it. I would love for you to have a collection at the end, a few pages, and by a few, I mean at least 10, if not more, of poetry that you can decide what you'd like to do with it. That bonus class is going to be the logistics of publishing. So I'm going to show you everything that I've done to be able to publish these books, getting them online from start to finish, how I did it, and being able to help you feel like at least that it's an option that you can explore or not for you. Okay. I would love for you to dig out your journal, and I want you to ask yourself a question. I want you to ask yourself what heartbreak means to you. What does it mean? If you don't know what you think it means, it's like, what does it feel like? Where do you feel it in your body? So much of poetry is putting humane characteristics to inanimate things. We were driving home the other night and I saw the sun behind the clouds. I'm like, this is exactly what it was like when the kids were playing hide and seek and they were 3 years old, and they would stand behind a tree that was like an inch thick, and right, you're just like, oh, I'm totally hiding, you can't see me, so I can't see you, right? And then, but I'm still there, and it's peeking behind it. The sun was doing that same thing with the clouds. So it's like taking that definition of heartbreak, can you put a human characteristic to it? Does it feel like when you get a paper cut and then put hand sanitizer on and it stings with all your being, even though the wound is so small and slight that you didn't even know that it was there? Is heartbreak to you like a break in trust? Like when you're playing tug of war and everybody is pulling with all their might and somebody lets go and then they all fall and then you're defeated. Does it feel like that? Does it remind you of a color? Maybe it reminded you of something you ate. Does heartbreak remind you of something that you ate? That it looked so delicious and then you ate it and it was like cardboard? It was all dry in your mouth. How do you describe it? What does heartbreak mean to you? This is just that small little exercise to get those juices flowing, a small prompt to be able to get you to think and feel about an emotion in a way with words. What you're writing down is already poetry. It's already subjective. It's the start of your collection. Even if you were to write it down in point form, what this word heartbreak means to you, it brings it up. With so many of us that have this book inside of us, we don't know where to start. Starting with the definition, just like I did with the start of this class, helps you anchor that feeling. What am I focused on? Let's find my style. Let's try these different things on each week to see if you can get something in there. Yeah, disappointment. But like, so it's like thinking of what heartbreak means to you. And if it means disappointment, asking yourself that next layer in, what does it feel like? What does it remind you of? Does it remind you of another situation? Being able to either make it personal or not, that you were disappointed in somebody, that you were let down. Do you feel disappointed in them, or are you disappointed in yourself? Being able to take that process and write it out, journaling and just editing it, to something that anybody else can put their feet into your shoes. Yeah, it's a honeycomb of heart in various stages of development. Yes. It's bee barf. Love it. And it can be all so different, and how there's such magic in that. And there's also such inspiration. If you find yourself comparing yourself to other people's writing, being able to be like, what do I see in them that I would like to do? Yes, that's a great description. Being able to see it in that way, like, okay, they think this way. How, like, I see how they made that correlation. How is it, how can, like, is there something similar in my life that I can do it? I want you to be able to try on a whole bunch of different styles over the next couple weeks to help you really find your voice and how you express yourself. When I write, I tell people that I write in modern poetry. I write a story and a narrative through a series of short poems that are easily consumable, that you can put yourself in the shoes, even though you know that I'm writing about myself from personal experience. And most of the writing that comes out needs to be edited. You don't have to write out the perfect poem right at the beginning. You can write it out and then flip your page and take 10 of the words that jump out and put that in a poem. That's our exercise for the week. What you wrote down about heartbreak, I want you to pick 10 words out. I want you to write them on a separate page. And then I want you to like wordsmith, place them around. How does this feel? How can you just, some of those words need to be expanded upon? Do certain words fit together at different places on a page? We'll get more into like the physical style of it in a few weeks, I think. But taking everything that you've written down about how your definition of heartbreak, flip that page, take the 10 words, either write them along the top, write them down in a column, write them in a list, being able to expand on that and see where it goes and see how you feel. I think so much about poetry too is just really learning how to trust yourself in your voice. Like, no, that doesn't feel right. No, this isn't the right word yet. Where is that inspiration coming from? What we're going to work on next week is being able to help find inspiration so that you can do this on a consistent basis for yourself. But this week we are going to anchor with the word heartbreak, with your definition of heartbreak, what it means to you, how you can wordsmith and have it have meaning to others. And then asking yourself, where do you want to go with it? Poetry can be one of those things that it has no point whatsoever. It's just words, beautifully arranged on a page in an artful and tasteful manner, whatever that may mean to you. And then sometimes poetry has that intensity and has that focus and does have a point. What's the point of heartbreak for you? Why do you think you're going through it? Don't answer that question yet. We'll do that next week. Baby steps. What's the point? Where is the focus? What does it mean? How does it feel? See and lean into, be curious about the layers behind it. You guys have some amazing comments in here. Being able to ask yourself just that one more question. This is what it means. This is why it's happening. How does it feel? How would I describe it to somebody else? What does it remind me of? That's how we can gather this information to create into poetry. Yes. Giving it focus. On having your grief and your heartbreak have that focus to like the destruction of your life and your emotions and your thoughts. But instead to be able to turn the focus back on it. Empower yourself through the words and through the description of what it is and what it means. And then where you want it to go. Taking a deep breath in. I think that we're going to do a guided meditation to get you into this space of writing. So it's going to be short. I want you to be able to practice trusting what comes up after the meditation, getting you into that space of what comes out, whether you feel like it's garbage or not, garbage or gold, whatever it may be. The practice of this is to get you into the habit of writing so that each time it gets easier, so that each time your words come faster and smoother and with more confidence. I'm going to do a guided meditation in. And then for this replay, you can pause it and then write to your heart's content until you want to listen to the meditation to get you out of it. Because I think it's also important to have that closure at the end of a writing session to help recompartmentalize the feelings. Otherwise, the words kind of chase you in the wind. Oh, okay. So this just came up. I'm going to flip open and read you something from... Oh, okay. Here we go. This is my vulnerability. So this is the first book I wrote, Letters to a Lover I Never Have. This is done through a self-publishing house. We'll talk about that on that bonus week. This is the second book I wrote, To My Lovers. This is all self-published. Did this all myself, the whole thing. Cost me $1 to make it. And I'll tell you about that in the bonus week too. And this is book number 3. Okay, so I'm just randomly opened it. It's done. I finished it this weekend. Because I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I said I wanted to start this, it's like the floodgates opened for writing. You've probably already been writing already or thinking about it, or poetry's really finding you. So I'm going to read you what is on both my 2 pages, and then while you kind of get your journal and take a deep breath, take some water, and we'll get you into your space for guided meditation. Okay. At this point in our lives, it's not just one adult falling in love with another adult. It's falling in love with trauma, emotional baggage and exes, and it's falling in love with independence and habits. But a lot of it is also falling in love with their children. And really, it comes down to one family falling in love with another. And on the next page, I have the darkness of the night brings up a fearful safety. Does it also bring, in the heat of the moment, truth? Or is it lies? Can't wait. How I write is that I have a journal for every book I'm writing. So I have 4 on the go. I have 3 on the go and 1 on the typewriter. And I write only when inspired. We'll talk about this more next week too. But that's kind of just how I piecemeal it together. And you guys will have lots of opportunity to ask questions as well. Okay, so let's get started with your first guided meditation for writing for the Heartbreak Hotel Book Club, week 1. So closing your eyes and taking a deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. And one more. Before letting your breath return to a regular pattern in and out through your nose. I'm asking for your loved ones and your guide to come in to help you feel supported through your writing process. To allow space or the time or an animal to come and aid you in holding your emotions and your grief as you navigate this process. Taking a moment to honor the grace that's within you for taking this time with your heart and finding those words and putting them to truth. I ask you to draw attention to the word heartbreak. Within your mind, where does it land inside your body? Asking for the words to find its way to that feeling. I ask for those words to find clarity in being able to speak through pen onto paper what they need to say. What does heartbreak mean? What does it feel like? Where is it going? Taking your pen in your hand, allow the words to flow through you. Finding comfort and that sound and the feeling of the scratch of pen to paper. And if your words don't feel ready yet, to be able to sit in that emotion. Allow them to pool within your heart and release through the energy of your tears. Allow yourself to write and see what comes up. You can pause this video here. And then when you feel like you have no words left in you, or you're ready to be finished writing, you can unpause it to help end with this closing meditation. Taking a deep breath in. Thank you for allowing for these words to flow through me. I honor this space within my soul as a writer and the gratitude I have for being able to express myself in this way. I'm grateful for the inspiration. I'm grateful for the energy surrounding it. I trust that my words are safe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Great job for week 1. I would love for you to share your work in the group chat, on the comments here on the video. I'll be available for another half hour. If you have any questions at all, you can do it in either space. Thank you for spending this time here with me today. And I will be here writing with you.